I am Pippin and I am talking to Stocker for Livewire. We are on day 3 of Big Sound. Everything is groovy, everything is looking up. It is a bit gnarly though. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling very day 3 right now.
Yeah.
It's tiring, you know. Just being like, it's like any music festival, whether you're performing or not. Big Sound is like turn the dial up.
Yeah. Absolutely. And because you've finished all your showcases now and you've absolutely taken over Big Sound. You were at Eclipse and La La Land over the week. Tell me about what was your favourite venue to play, or did you have a favourite show between the two of them, or was it like you can't pick because they were both so awesome?
Oh yeah, I can't pick. They were both so awesome. I had so much fun. The first one I was really in my head, so I was very like technically, like vocally, I felt really confident in it. But I loved playing Eclipse. It's a somewhat new venue. It was
went
crazy
off, and
in there.
Isn't it the waterfall thing that makes?
I felt like I was in a Baz
shape?
Luhrmann film. I was like, wait.
And because I don't go clubbing, I only go to like shitty music venues to watch gigs. No offense, like peace and love to all the music venues, but like compared to this was like a club.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is
Brisbane got
crazy.
And we did a DJ set afterwards at Porn and Co, another new venue which is like a club. Yeah, I think Brisbane's really in a good way gentrifying. Can you say that? I mean, I feel bad for the valley, but it's nice to have
it's nice to have
see that money being
polished
sunk
places,
into
and just fun in the context of Big Sound and having gigs too, because obviously I don't know that Eclipse will like necessarily be a live music venue, but to see live music being played in that space and go like, this would actually really work, like if they wanted to do that.
Yeah, completely.
Because it was really cool, and I feel like it was one of those times too where the artist perfectly matched the space. Like I was like, this venue, Stocker.
It was so fun and silly, and like in a positive way, like kitschy, over the top, fun.
Yeah,
it was really the
fun.
Red Bull fridges at every like meter along the wall is so. It's so me, Code. I do wake up and have a lot of energy drinks. I spoke to the club manager and I was like, can I take a few? I need them right now.
Like, jack me up, I need
Thank
this.
you.
I also really loved seeing all of your posters around the valley, like immediate mystery and intrigue. It's just like, is this girl missing? Is she done something wrong? Like, tell us about like that process and deciding to do that.
I think it's about the lip locker lip. So like my debut EP, Lip Locked, came out, and I was kind of working out. I'm doing a few singles. I just released Into Me last week, and I was like, well, it's not a part of the Lip Locked EP.
Yeah.
But it's not exactly the next EP. It's just kind of like a middle ground. So I thought, well, it's the Lip Locker Lips. It's the post of it, and I feel like I wanted to lean into, you know, I guess what would the aftermath of a true crime be, a cult, a poltergeist sort of scenario, which is like, you know, what a lot of the visuals have been. It would be like a missing person. I didn't want to be disrespectful, so I tried to make sure I didn't, you know, lean too much, but like just like a fun, like
it was really intriguing. Like I sort of just looked at it and I was like, I need to know more.
And then you're like, oh, it's Bria. Okay, that makes sense.
No, because the visual component is so important in everything that you do, and I feel like you have this incredible through line of like a world that you've created. Is that sort of world that you've created particularly for like I guess Lip Locked and Into Me and everything, like, is that a continuing thread, or are we gonna find in like the next body of work that it's like a totally different vision?
I think for now, at least, it feels like a continuing thread. I've come to a point as an artist where I feel like I can only. Oh, I'm sounding so wanky right now, aren't I?
No,
and where I feel like I can only make stuff that's serving the song, serving the project, when I'm just delving into my own inspirations and original experiences.
Totally.
Which, I mean, aside from, I had a heartbreak and I want to write about it, like, the most interesting things are looking back at my youth and the things that influenced me there. And I grew up, you know, I was at my grandparents a lot, and they'd raised me on HR Puffin stuff and VHSs and
it's an important aspect.
And like I would watch old horror movies, and I loved lived near Hanging Rock, so I'd go to picnic at Hanging Rock, and
I
I'd watch Picnic at
love
Hanging
that
Rock.
story.
It's
So
yeah.
the intrigue
I didn't understand
child.
it as a kid at all. I think
It's freaky.
it was
It's
just
really,
it was
but
just
it's
spooky.
really spooky and cool, and it is. It's actually a really beautiful place. Like I have quite a lot of family connections to that place. That's where we scattered like a lot of my grandparents' ashes there, because it's where my dad proposed to my mum at Hanging Rock. So I totally know what you mean about it is like a haunting but really beautiful place.
And I feel like Australia, we have a very recent history in film of like Australian horror, and you know, things like Lake Mungo or whatever. And it's a scary. It's a scary environment, Australia. The desolate, you know, you think like Wake in Fright. There's the like real, which is like an old horror movie from the 60s, but it's real. It's very progressive, actually. It was like looking into male violence and the culture within Australia, and aggression, and the horror of it is actually just this dude becoming taken over by the Australian male violence culture. And that was just the scary of it. There's no like crazy murder, there's no like haunting. It's just like, how scary is this, Australia?
Men.
But then there's the men, yeah. But then there's the other side where it's like the alpine regions, Victoria and Hanging Rock, like where I grew up in Albury Wodonga and like Brighton, Mount Hotham. I just think it's a beautiful country, like just in its nature, and I don't know. I'm just rambling. Blah blah blah.
Sacred land as well, and
it
like
is,
all
yeah.
that cultural connection to the First Nations people that live there. Like, there's such a deep. I think when you're on country like that, you're like, this place is old and it holds so many stories. It's really cool for you to be able to just take inspiration from your childhood, I think, to be able and interlink that with who you are and who you are becoming now, because it really tells like the narrative of Bria to Stocker to like whoever you are becoming, whoever you will be. The project grows with
completely.
you.
And I think about it a lot, because I have worried, because I am exploring like Australiana, really that like 60s, 70s. I have my own ties with like religion and cults within Australia, but I am coming from a white Australian perspective, and I do worry about, like, I don't want it to, you know, look colonize-y the way that I'm portraying my, like,
I don't think that it does.
But I you know, I think that it is very much so a project that is from, and really is critiquing that, like, white Catholic Christian, like, nuclear leaning into the occult, like, how traditional I think Australia was. That's the visuals that I see. It was very don't ask, don't tell, like, and you know, that's where Lip Locked comes from. It's that, like, what's behind the scenes.
Because there's always more
There's
to
always
the
more to the story. That's
well, it's nuts because you have been giving us so much music.
Thank you to my manager.
An unhinged level, like, prolific amount of music. It's incredible. So we got Lip Locked, and then we also got Into Me. It's just like, I was listening to your discography and I was like, holy moly guacamole, when has this girl slept? What has she been doing? It's so bananas. How have you been, like, managing that, and do you have like a favorite track to play, or is it just so you're bouncing around just through so much music that you're just like, wow, the body of work flows together and they're all just like one continuous song to you? Or how do you feel about it?
Well, a lot of it, like the original of Lost So Much was written back in 2019. And a lot of this has been a long time in the making, where I am just refining, like, the songs themselves and what the project looks like. But it's definitely not me managing it. It's my great manager, Max Thomas, who he came on 2 years ago and really allowed me space to breathe last year, whilst I was, you know, kind of getting myself to a point where I was ready to release, and in the right headspace to be exploring these themes. And and doing it right and saying it how I want to say, and setting it up so that it can look like I'm going push 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 and everything's going all at once, but it's it's just a really great team behind me, and then the people at Ditto as well, who've been my distributors and keeping me as much as they can on my timeline.
I mean, timelines can be wobbly and wavy. What is time, really?
I'm a very wobbly girl, and as is my budget.
So I understand. I resonate with that so much.
Yeah.
I'd like to come back to your Big Sound showcases because I love that there was like a mid-set cocktail, and I'm wondering if that is your most chaotic thing that's happened at Big Sound, or if there is more.
I think the cocktail's probably the most planned chaotic at Big Sound.
So awesome. So like just to set the scene for people that were unlucky plebs that didn't watch the show. Boo you. Yeah. Stocker had a cocktail made mid-set. You're singing. Someone's literally shaking.
One of my producers, Blair, he's so funny. He pitched the idea to me because during that song we hadn't got the stems for the SPD, so he was like, do you want me to just make you a drink on stage? Which I think that sums up my energy perfectly, of like, I just want to have fun with it. My music is very serious and, it can get a bit dredgy, but like a lot of the people I find who relate to that, those sorts of themes are often the funniest people too. So bring a bit of
with darkness
lightness.
Comes so much lightness.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's so hilarious and funny. Well, I've got just 3 really like quick fire questions for you, and then I'll let you go because you've got heaps of stuff to do today. But my first question, I just want to stay here in the aircon on the comfy couch. My first one is, if you could describe your Big Sound in one word, what would it be?
Haunting.
Ooh, so mysterious. If Stocker was a drink, what drink would it be?
A Bloody Mary.
Oh, I had one of those.
Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary.
So good. Spooky. Okay, we're haunted now. And my final one, is there anyone that you have seen or that you're going to see that you're like, my absolute recommended?
I really enjoyed Mac the Knife set. I do have to give a shout out though to Juno, my besties. Yeah. They're just incredible. They always slay it.
Last night was insane. Yeah. Their show was so good.
And they're on again tonight, and they kill it every time, and they keep building it up and up. So I always have to give my kudos to them.
So good. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vivian. I love you so much.